ดู
How does this music make you feel? Do you find it beautiful? Is it creative? Now, would you change your answers if you learned the composer was this robot? Believe it or not, people have been grappling with the question of artificial creativity alongside the question of artificial intelligence for over 170 years. In 1843, Lady Ada Lovelace, an English mathematician considered the world's first computer programmer, wrote that a machine could not have human-like intelligence as long as it only did what humans intentionally programmed it to do. According to Lovelace, a machine must be able to create original ideas if it is to be considered intelligent. The Lovelace test, formalized in 2001, proposes a way of scrutinizing this idea. A machine can pass this test if it can produce an outcome that its designers cannot explain based on their original code. The Lovelace test is, by design, more of a thought experiment than an objective scientific test, but it's a place to start. At first glance, the idea of a machine creating high-quality original music in this way might seem impossible. We could come up with an extremely complex algorithm using random number generators, chaotic functions, and fuzzy logic to generate a sequence of musical notes in a way that would be impossible to track. But although this would yield countless original melodies never heard before, only a tiny fraction of them would be worth listening to, with the computer having no way to distinguish between those which we would consider beautiful and those which we don't. But what if we took a step back and tried to model a natural process that allows creativity to form? We happen to know of at least one such process that has led to original, valuable, and even beautiful outcomes. The process of evolution. And evolutionary algorithms, or genetic algorithms that mimic biological evolution, are one promising approach to making machines generate original and valuable artistic outcomes. So how can evolution make a machine musically creative? Well, instead of organisms, we can start with an initial population of musical phrases. And a basic algorithm that mimics reproduction and random mutations by switching some parts, combining others, and replacing random notes. Now that we have a new generation of phrases, we can apply selection using an operation called a fitness function. Just as biological fitness is determined by external environmental pressures, our fitness function will be determined by an external melody chosen by human musicians or music fans to represent the ultimate beautiful melody. The algorithm can then compare between our musical phrases and that beautiful melody,
what the fuck?
and select only the phrases that are most similar to it. Once the least similar sequences are weeded out, the algorithm can reapply mutation and recombination to what's left, select the most similar or fitted ones again from the new generation, and repeat for many generations. The process that got us there has so much randomness and complexity built in that the result might pass the Lovelace test. More importantly, thanks to the presence of human aesthetic in the process, with a theoretically generated melodies hundreds of years. But does this satisfy our intuition for what is truly creative? Is it enough to make something original and beautiful? Or does creativity require intention and awareness of what is being created? Perhaps the creativity in this case is really coming from the creators, even if they don't understand the process. What is human creativity anyways? Is it something more than a system of interconnected neurons, developed by biological algorithmic processes, and the random experiences that shape our lives? Order and chaos, machine and human. These are the dynamos at the heart of machine creativity machines that are currently making music, sculptures, paintings, poetry, and more. The jury may still be out as to whether it's fair to call these acts of creation creative.
Này nói về
But
nhạc
if a piece of work can
từ
make you
phần mềm
weep
tạo ra mà.
or blow your mind, or send shivers down your spine? Does it really matter who or what created it? How does your smartphone know exactly where you are? The answer lies 12,000 miles over your head, in an orbiting satellite that keeps time to the beat of an atomic clock, powered by quantum mechanics. Whew, let's break that down. First of all, why is it so important to know what time it is on a satellite when location is what we're concerned about? The first thing your phone needs to determine is how far it is from a satellite. Each satellite constantly broadcasts radio signals that travel from space to your phone at the speed of light.
At the speed of light.
Your phone records the signal arrival time and uses it to calculate the distance to the satellite using the simple formula: distance equals c times time, where c is the speed of light and time is how long the signal traveled. But there's a problem. Light is incredibly fast. If we were only able to calculate time to the nearest second, every location on Earth, and far beyond, would seem to be the same distance from the satellite. So in order to calculate that distance to within a few dozen feet, we need the best clock ever invented. Enter atomic clocks, some of which are so precise that they would not gain or lose a second, even if they ran for the next 300 million years.
300 million
Atomic
years.
clocks work because of quantum physics. All clocks must have a constant frequency. In other words, a clock must carry out some repetitive action to mark off equivalent increments of time. Just as a grandfather clock relies on the constant swinging back and forth of a pendulum under gravity, the tick-tock of an atomic clock is maintained by the transition between two energy levels of an atom. This is where quantum physics comes into play. Quantum mechanics says that atoms carry energy, but they can't take on just any arbitrary amount. Instead, atomic energy is constrained to a precise set of levels. We call these quanta. As a simple analogy, think about driving a car onto a freeway. As you increase your speed, you would normally continuously go from, say, 20 miles per hour up to 70 miles per hour. Now, if you had a quantum atomic car, you wouldn't accelerate in a linear fashion. Instead, you would instantaneously jump or transition from one speed to the next. For an atom, when a transition occurs from one energy level to another, quantum mechanics says that the energy difference is equal to a characteristic frequency multiplied by a constant, where the change in energy is equal to a number called Planck's constant times the frequency. That characteristic frequency is what we need to make our clock. GPS satellites rely on cesium and rubidium atoms as frequency standards. In the case of cesium-133, the characteristic frequency is 9,192,000,000.
Còn không có cả SP để ulti.
770 Hz. That's 9 billion cycles per second. That's a really fast clock. No matter how skilled a clockmaker may be, every pendulum, wind-up mechanism, and quartz crystal resonates at a slightly different frequency. However, every cesium-133 atom in the universe oscillates at the same exact frequency. So thanks to the atomic clock, we get a time reading accurate to within 1 billionth of a second and a very precise measurement of the distance from that satellite. Let's ignore the fact that you're almost definitely on Earth. We now know that you're at a fixed distance from the satellite. In other words, you're somewhere on the surface of a sphere centered around the satellite. Measure your distance from a second satellite and you get another overlapping sphere. Keep doing that, and with just 4 measurements and a little correction using Einstein's theory of relativity, you can pinpoint your location to exactly one point in space.
Giờ lẽ dùng DK né.
So that's all it takes. A multi-billion-dollar network of satellites, oscillating cesium atoms, quantum mechanics, relativity, a smartphone, and you. No problem.
Toàn là cứ đến hai con này xong lại nét. Y chang ông Anh Đông.
Earthquakes have always been a terrifying phenomenon, and they've become more deadly as our cities have grown, with collapsing buildings posing one of the largest risks. Why do buildings collapse in an earthquake?
Ồ, ảo
And
vậy.
how can it be prevented?
Được, tin này được.
If you've watched a lot of disaster films, you might have the idea that building collapse is caused directly by the ground beneath them shaking violently, or even splitting apart. But that's not really how it works. For one thing, most buildings are not located right on a fault line, and the shifting tectonic plates go much deeper than building foundations. So what's actually going on? In fact, the reality of earthquakes and their effect on buildings is a bit more complicated. To make sense of it, architects and engineers use models, like a two-dimensional array of lines representing columns and beams, or a single-line lollipop with circles representing the building's mass. Even when simplified to this degree, these models can be quite useful, as predicting a building's response to an earthquake is primarily a matter of physics. Most collapses that occur during earthquakes aren't actually caused by the earthquake itself. Instead, when the ground moves beneath a building, it displaces the foundation and lower levels, sending shock waves through the rest of the structure and causing it to vibrate back and forth. The strength of this oscillation depends on two main factors: the building's mass, which is concentrated at the bottom, and its stiffness, which is the force required to cause a certain amount of displacement. Along with the building's material type and the shape of its columns, stiffness is largely a matter of height. Shorter buildings tend to be stiffer and shift less, while taller buildings are more flexible. You might think that the solution is to build shorter buildings so that they shift as little as possible. But the 1985 Mexico City earthquake is a good example of why that's not the case. During the quake, many buildings between 6 and 15 stories tall collapsed. What's strange is that while shorter buildings nearby did keep standing, buildings taller than 15 stories were also less damaged. And the mid-sized buildings that collapsed were observed shaking far more violently than the earthquake itself. How is that possible? The answer has to do with something known as natural frequency. In an oscillating system, the frequency is how many back and forth movement cycles occur within a second. This is the inverse of the period, which is how many seconds it takes to complete one cycle. And a building's natural frequency, determined by its mass and stiffness, is the frequency that its vibrations will tend to cluster around. Increasing a building's mass slows down the rate at which it naturally vibrates, while increasing stiffness makes it vibrate faster. So in the equation representing their relationship, stiffness and natural frequency are proportional to one another, while mass and natural frequency are proportional. What happened in Mexico City was an effect called resonance, where the frequency of the earthquake's seismic waves happened to match the natural frequency of the mid-sized buildings. Like a well-timed push on a swing set, each additional seismic wave amplified the building's vibration in its current direction, causing it to swing even further back, and so on, eventually reaching a sequence where the proportional. What happened in Mexico City was an effect called resonance, where the frequency of the earthquake buildings. Like a well-timed push on a swing set, each additional seismic wave amplified the building's vibration in its current seismologists to predict the frequency of at building sites in order to prevent resonance-induced collapses, taking into account factors such as soil type and fault type, as well as data from previous quakes. Low frequencies of motion will cause more damage to taller and more flexible buildings, while high frequencies of motion also devise systems.
Ăn đủ kỳ ta.
Uses flexible layers to
Điệu máu à, điệu máu cũng được, nhưng mà điệu máu thì con đấy có nào phá giáp.
But the smartest ones.
Điệu máu đâu có con nào phá giáp đâu. Nét thế nhở.
In the 13th century, Genghis Khan embarked on a mission to take over Eurasia, swiftly conquering countries and drawing them into his expanding Mongol empire. With his vast armies, he became almost unstoppable. But legend has it that there was one obstacle that even the impressive Khan couldn't overcome. A towering wall of ice, grown by locals across a mountain pass to stop the Khan's armies from invading their territory. No one knows how historically accurate that particular story is, but remarkably, it draws on fact. For centuries, in the Karakoram and Himalayan regions, people have been growing glaciers and using these as sources of drinking water and irrigation for their crops. But before we get to that fascinating phenomenon, it's important to understand the difference between glaciers that grow in the wild and those that freeze. In the wild, glaciers require 3 conditions to grow: snowfall, cold temperatures, and time. First, a great deal of snow falls and accumulates. Cold temperatures then ensure that the stacked up snow persists throughout winter, spring, summer, and fall. Over the following years, decades, and centuries, the pressure of the accumulated snow transforms layers into tiny glacial ice. Artificially
why it's so dead?
However, is completely different. At the confluence of 3 great mountain
ranges,
the Himalayas, Karakoram, and Hindu Kush, some local cultures have believed for centuries that glaciers are alive. And what's more, that certain glaciers can have different genders, including local glacier growers breed new glaciers by grafting together or marrying fragments of ice from male and female glaciers, then covering them with charcoal. Under their protective coverings, these glacierettes transform into fully active glaciers that grow each year with additional snowfall. Those then serve as lasting reserves of water that farmers can use to cultivate their crops. These practices have spread to other cultures where people are creating their own versions of glaciers and applying them to solve serious modern challenges around water supply. Take Lada, a high-altitude desert region in northern India. It sits in the rain shadow of the Himalayas and receives, on average, fewer than 10 centimeters of rain per year. As local glaciers shrink because of climate change, water scarcity is increasing. And so, local people have started growing their own glaciers as insurance against this uncertainty. These glaciers come in 2 types, horizontal and vertical.
Nghiệp nhiều quá
là bị nhiệt are formed when farmers redirect glacier meltwater into channels and lakes, then cycle water into a series of basins made from stones and earth. Villagers immediately control the release of water into these reservoirs, waiting for each new layer to freeze before filling the basin with another wave. In early spring, these frozen pools begin to line villagers with irrigation. Local people make vertical glaciers, using the meltwater from already existing glaciers high above their villages. The meltwater enters channels that run downhill, flowing until it reaches a crop site where it bursts forth from a pipe pointing straight into the air. When winter temperatures dip, this water freezes as it arcs out of the pipe, ultimately forming a sculpture called a stupa, shaped like an upside-down iceberg. This inverted fold minimizes the amount of surface area it exposes to the sun in the spring and summer. That ensures that the mini glacier melts slowly and provides a reliable supply of water to feed the farmers' crops. These methods may be ancient, but they're becoming more important as climate change takes its toll on our planet. In fact, people are now growing their own glaciers in many regions beyond Ladakh. Swiss people, utilizing modern glacier growing technology, created their first stupa in 2016 in the Swiss Alps. There are plans for over 100 more in villages in Pakistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Perhaps one day we'll be able to harness our homegrown glaciers well enough to build whole walls of ice. This time not for keeping people out, but to enable life in some of the planet's harshest landscapes. As Nikola Tesla said, the progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. Check out this playlist to see some of the ingenious inventions giving us hope for a brighter future.
For most of the year, the Gulf of Mexico is teeming with life, from tiny crustaceans to massive baleen whales. Every summer, disaster strikes. Around May, animals begin to flee the area, and soon, creatures that can't swim fast enough, begin to suffocate and die off in massive numbers. From late spring to early autumn, thousands of square kilometers along the coast become a marine dead zone, unable to support most forms of aquatic life. This strange annual curse isn't new. Dead zones like this one have formed all over the world. But to explore what's creating these lethal conditions, we first need to understand how a healthy marine ecosystem functions. In any body of water that receives sufficient sunlight, plant-like organisms such as algae and cyanobacteria thrive. Clouds of algae streak the surface of deep waters, and in shallower regions, large seaweeds and seagrass cover the ground. Not only do these organisms form the foundation of local food chains, their photosynthesis provides the oxygen necessary for aquatic animals to survive. Besides sunlight and CO2, algae also depends on nutrients, phosphorus and nitrogen. While such resources are typically in short supply, sometimes a surrounding watershed can flood coastal waters with these nutrients. For example, large rainstorm might wash nutrient-rich sediment from a forest into a lake. These additional resources lead to a massive increase in algae growth, known as eutrophication. But rather than providing more food and oxygen, this surge of growth has deadly consequences. As more algae grows on the surface, it blocks sunlight to the plants. These light-deprived plants die off and decompose in a process which uses up the water's already depleted oxygen supply. With time, this can reduce the oxygen content to less than 2 milligrams of oxygen per litre, creating an uninhabitable dead zone. There are rare bodies of water that rely on natural eutrophication. Regions like the Bay of Bengal are full of bottom-dwelling marine life that has adapted to low oxygen conditions. But human activity has made eutrophication a regular and widespread occurrence. Nutrient-rich waste from our sewage systems and industrial processes often end up in lakes, estuaries, and coastal waters. The Gulf of Mexico is one of the largest dumping zones on Earth for one particular pollutant, fertilizer. American agriculture relies heavily on nitrogen and phosphate-based fertilizers. 31 states, including America's top agricultural producers, are connected to the Mississippi River basin, and all of their runoff drains into the Gulf of
này còn không
Mexico.
có cái để quy te nữa.
Farmers apply most of this
Đắt quá.
fertilizer during the spring planting season, so the nutrient flood occurs
Rồi
shortly
xong
after.
sai rồi.
In the Gulf, decomposing algae sinks into the band of cold salt water near the seafloor. Since these dense lower waters don't mix with the warmer fresh water above, it can take 4 months for tropical storms to fully circulate oxygenated water back into the Gulf. This dead zone currently costs US seafood and tourism industries as much as $82 million a year, and that cost will only increase as the dead zone gets bigger. On average, the Gulf dead zone is roughly 15,000 square kilometers, but in 2019 it grew to over 22,000 square kilometers, approximately the size of New Jersey. Human activity is similarly responsible for growing dead zones around the world. So what can be done? In the short term, countries can set tighter regulations on industrial runoff and ban the dumping of untreated sewage into ocean waters. On farms, we can plant buffer zones composed of trees and shrubs to
Đủ nó còn không ấy cho
absorb
mình né nữa.
runoff. However, long-term solutions will require radical changes to the way we grow food. Farmers are currently incentivized to use techniques that reduce the health of the soil and rely heavily on nitrogen-rich fertilizers. But there will be less need for these chemicals if we restore the soil's natural nutrients by planting diverse crops that manage soil erosion and fertility. Hopefully, we can make these fundamental changes soon. Because if we don't, the future of our marine ecosystems may be dead in the water.
May be dead in the water.
Fish. By 2050, there will be more
kìa bạn.
plastic and trash in the ocean than fish. Could the Earth really run out of fish? Find out more in this series of friends.
Sao lại không né được nhỉ?
And what we can do to
Sao
prevent
không né được nhỉ?
it with this video.
Sai quá, sai quá.
Some are longer than a blue whale. Others are barely larger than a grain of sand. One species unleashes one of the most deadly venoms on Earth. Another holds a secret that's behind some of the greatest breakthroughs in biology. They've inhabited the ocean for at least 500 million years, and they're still flourishing as the sea changes around them.
Thôi, 733 hai con được rồi. Trụ ơi,
Jellyfish
trụ.
are soft-bodied sea creatures that aren't really fish. They're part of a diverse team of gelatinous zooplankton. Zooplankton being animals that drift in the ocean. There are more than 1,000 species of jellyfish,
2%.
and many others that are
2%
often
rồi.
mistaken for them. A noted feature of jellyfish is a translucent bell made of a soft, delicate material called mesoglea. Sandwiched between 2 layers of skin, the mesoglea is more than 95%
Mỗi cái MA đánh
water,
nửa tiếng.
held together
Nét
by
quá.
protein fibers. The jellyfish can contract and relax their bells to propel themselves. They don't have a brain or a spinal cord, but a neural net around the bell's inner margin forms a rudimentary nervous system that can sense the ocean's currents and the touch of other animals. Jellyfish don't have typical digestive systems either. These gelatinous
fuck?
carnivores consume plankton and other small sea creatures through a hole in the underside of their bells. The nutrients are absorbed by an inner layer of cells, with waste excreted back through their mouths. But the jellyfish's relatively simple anatomy doesn't prevent it from having some remarkable abilities. One kind of box jellyfish has 24 eyes.
The fuck?
Scientists
Mà ai
think
cũng
it can
800 nữa
see
này.
color and
Có color.
form images within its simple nervous system. 4 of its eyes are curved upward on stalks. This allows the jellyfish to peer through the surface of the water, looking for the canopy of the mangrove trees where it
Ai cũng
feeds.
800 này.
In
Ghê vậy.
fact, this may be one of the only creatures with a 360-degree view of its environment. The jellyfish's sting, which helps it capture prey and defend itself, is its most infamous calling card. In the jelly's epidermis, cells called nematocysts lie coiled like poisonous harpoons. When they're triggered by contact, they shoot with an explosive force. It exerts over 550 times the pressure of Mike Tyson's strongest punch to inject venom into the victim. Some jellyfish stings barely tingle, but others cause severe skin damage. The venom of one box jellyfish can kill a human in under 5 minutes, making it one of the most potent poisons of any animal in the world. Other jellyfish superpowers are less lethal. One species of jellyfish glows green when it's agitated, mostly thanks to a biofluorescent compound called green fluorescent protein, or GFP. Scientists isolated the gene for GFP and figured out how to insert it into the DNA of other cells. There, it acts like a biochemical beacon, marking genetic modifications or revealing the path of critical molecules. Scientists have used the glow of GFP to watch cancer cells proliferate, track the development of Alzheimer's, and illuminate countless other biological processes. Developing the tools and techniques from GFP has netted 3 scientists a Nobel Prize in 2008 and another 3 in 2014. But it's jellyfish who may be the most successful organisms on Earth. Ancient fossils prove that jellyfish have inhabited the seas for at least 500 million years, and maybe go back over 700 million. That's longer than any other multi-organ animal. And as other marine animals are struggling to survive in warmer and more acidic oceans, the jellyfish are thriving, and perhaps getting even more numerous. It doesn't hurt that some can lay as many as 45,000 eggs in a single night. And there's some jellyfish whose survival strategy almost sounds like science fiction. When the immortal jellyfish is sick, aging, or under stress, its struggling cells can change their identity. The tiny bell and tentacles deteriorate and turn into an immature polyp that spawns brand new clones of the parent. As far as we know, these are the only animals who found a loophole when facing mortality. That's pretty sophisticated for species that are 95% water and predate the dinosaurs.
Now let's go.
A few months ago, the Nobel Prize was awarded to 2 teams of astronomers for a discovery that has been hailed as one of the most important astronomical observations ever. And today, after briefly describing what they found, I'm going to tell you about a highly controversial framework for explaining their discovery, namely the possibility that way beyond the Earth, Milky Way, and other distant galaxies, we may find that our universe is not the only universe, but is instead part of that complex of universes that we call the multiverse. Now, the idea of a multiverse is strange. I mean, most of us raised to believe that the word universe means everything, and I say most of us with forethought, as my 4-year-old daughter has heard me speak of these ideas since she was born, and last year, I was holding her and I said, "Sophia, I love you more than anything in the universe." And she turned to me and said, "Daddy, universe or multiverse?" But barring such an anomalous upbringing, it is strange to imagine other realms separate from ours, most with fundamentally different features that would rightly be called universes of their own. And yet, speculative though the idea surely is, I aim to convince you that there's reason for taking it seriously, as it just might be right. I'm going to tell the story of the multiverse in 3 parts. In part 1, I'm going to describe those Nobel Prize winning results and highlight a profound mystery which those results reveal. In part 2, I'll offer a solution to that mystery. It's based on an approach called string theory, and that's where the idea of the multiverse will come into the story. Finally, in part 3, I'm going to describe a cosmological theory called inflation, which will pull all the pieces of the story together. Okay, part 1 starts back in 1929 when the great astronomer Edwin Hubble realized that the distant galaxies were all rushing away from us, establishing that space itself is stretching, it's expanding. Now, this was revolutionary. The prevailing wisdom was that on the largest of scales, the universe was static. But even so, there was one thing that everyone was certain of. The expansion must be slowing down. That as much as the gravitational pull of the Earth slows the ascent of an apple cart upwards, the gravitational pull of each galaxy on every other must be slowing the expansion of space. Now let's fast forward to the 1990s, when those 2 teams of astronomers I mentioned at the outset were inspired by this reasoning to measure the rate at which the expansion has been slowing. And they did this by painstaking observation of numerous distant galaxies, allowing them to chart how the expansion rate has changed over time. Here's the surprise. They found that the expansion is not slowing down. Instead, they found that it's speeding up, going faster and faster. That's like tossing an apple upward, and it goes up faster and faster. Now, if you saw an apple do that, you want to know why. What's pushing on it? Similarly, the astronomers' results are surely well deserving of the Nobel Prize, but they raise an analogous question. What force is driving all galaxies to rush away from every other at an ever-quickening speed? Well, the most promising answer comes from an old idea of Einstein's. You see, we are all used to gravity being a force that one thing pulls objects together. But in Einstein's theory of gravity, his general theory of relativity, gravity can also push things apart. How? Well, according to Einstein's math, if space is uniformly filled with an invisible energy, sort of like a uniform invisible mist, gravity generated by that mist would be repulsive gravity, which is just what we need to explain the observations, because the repulsive gravity of an invisible energy in space, we now call it dark energy, but I've made it smoky white here so you can see it. Its repulsive gravity would cause each galaxy to push against every other, driving the expansion to speed up, not slow down. And this explanation represents great progress. But I promise you a mystery here in part 1. Here it is. When the astronomers worked out how much of this dark energy must be infusing space to account for the cosmic speed up, look what they found. This number is small. Expressed in the relevant units, it is spectacularly small. And the mystery is to explain this peculiar number. We want this number to emerge from the laws of physics, but so far no one has found a way to do that. Now, you might wonder, could you care? Maybe explaining this number is just a technical issue, technical detail of interest to experts, but no relevance to anybody else. Well, it surely is a technical detail, but some details really matter. Some details provide windows into uncharted realms of reality, and this peculiar number may be doing just that, as the only approach that so far made headway to explain it invokes the possibility of other universes, an idea that naturally emerges from string theory, which takes me to part 2, string theory. So, all the mystery of the dark energy in the back of your mind, as I now go on to tell you 3 key things about string theory. First off, what is it? Well, it's an approach to realize Einstein's dream of a unified theory of physics, a single overarching framework that would be able to describe
đứng xa thế vẫn bị tê à? Vãi
at
lều.
work in the universe. And the central idea of string theory is quite straightforward. It says that if you examine any piece of matter ever more finely, at first you'll find molecules, and then you'll find atoms and
Nghe như
subatomic
được vào vậy.
particles. But the theory says that if you could probe smaller, much more than we can with existing technology, you'd find
Gọi là
something
kẹt không ghi luôn chứ.
inside these particles. A little tiny vibrating filament of energy, a little tiny vibrating string. And just like the strings on a violin, they can vibrate in different patterns, producing different musical notes. These little fundamental strings, when they vibrate in different patterns, they produce different kinds of particles. So electrons, quarks, neutrinos, photons, all other particles would be united into a single
That-
framework, as they would all arise from vibrating strings. It's a compelling picture, a kind of cosmic symphony where all
Mùi
the
tin Nga mạnh
richness
hơn là
that we
tại vì
see
nó
in the
có
world
cái
around us
skill
emerges
khá là bá.
from the music that these little tiny strings can play. But there's a cost to this elegant unification, because years of research have shown that the math of string theory doesn't quite work. It has internal inconsistencies
này.
unless we
À.
allow for something wholly
Ủa,
unfamiliar.
trong vật lý
Extra
Bướm
dimensions
quyết đam.
of space.
khá là mạnh.
That is, we all know about the usual 3 dimensions of space, and you can think about those as height, width, and depth. But string theory says that on fantastically small scales, there are additional dimensions crumpled to a tiny size, so small that we have not detected them. But even though the
Nhưng mà đấy là
dimensions
phải
are
ưu
hidden,
tiên,
they
chứ
would
không phải
have
nào
an
ưu tiên
impact
đâu.
on things that we can observe, because the shape of the extra dimensions constrains how the strings can vibrate. And in string theory, vibration determines everything. So particle masses, the strengths of forces, and most importantly, the amount of dark energy would be determined by the shape of the extra dimensions. So if we knew the shape of the extra dimensions, we should be able to calculate these features, calculate the amount of dark energy. The challenge is, we don't know the shape of the extra dimensions. All we have is a list of candidate shapes allowed by the math.
Ồ, quên.
Now, when these ideas were first developed, there were only about 5 different candidate shapes, so you can imagine analyzing them one by one to determine if any yield the physical features we observe. But over time, the list grew as researchers found other candidate shapes. From 5, the number grew to the hundreds and then the thousands. A large but still manageable collection to analyze, since after all, graduate students need something to do.
Từ từ hay sai.
But then the list continued to grow into the millions and the
Same,
billions
same.
until today. The list of candidate shapes has soared to about 10 to the 500. So, what to do? Well, some researchers lost heart, concluding that with so many candidate shapes for the extra dimensions, each giving rise to different physical features, string theory would never make definitive testable predictions. But others turn this issue on its head, taking us to the possibility of a multiverse. Here's the idea. Maybe each of these shapes is on an equal footing with every other. Each is as real as every other in the sense that there are many universes, each with a different shape for the extra dimensions. And this radical proposal
really?
has a profound impact on this mystery, the amount of
So
dark
I have to get
energy
closer?
revealed by the Nobel Prize winning results, because you see, if there are other universes, and if those universes each have, say, a different shape for the extra dimensions, then the physical features of each universe
Yeah,
will
you're
be
right.
different, and in particular,
Thought doesn't
the
apply.
amount of dark energy in
How
each
is
universe
that
will be
possible?
different, which means that the mystery of explaining the amount of dark energy we've now measured would take on a wholly different character. In this context, the laws of physics can't explain one number for the dark energy, because there isn't just one number. There are many numbers, which means we have been asking the wrong question. Instead, the right question to ask is, why do we humans find ourselves in a universe with the particular amount of dark energy we've measured instead of any of the other
I see now.
possibilities that are out there? And that's a question on which we can make headway, because those universes that have much more dark energy than ours Whenever matter tries to clump into galaxies, the repulsive push of the dark energy is so strong that it blows the clump apart.
Sus, I
and
still cannot see
galaxies don't
that.
form. And in those universes that have much less dark energy, well, they collapse back on themselves so quickly that again, galaxies don't form. Without galaxies, there are no stars, no planets, and no chance for our form of life to exist in those other universes. So we find ourselves in a universe with a particular amount of dark energy we've measured simply because our universe has conditions hospitable to our form of life. And that would be that. Mystery solved, multiverse found. Now, some find this explanation unsatisfying. We're used to physics giving us definitive explanations for the features we observe. But the point is, if the feature you're observing can and does take on a wide variety of different values across the wider landscape of reality, then sinking one explanation for a particular value is simply
Ok bạn, bạn sao bạn lại làm thế?
Example
Đi con mẹ bạn.
comes from the great astronomer Johannes Kepler, who was obsessed with understanding a different number. Why the sun is 93 million miles away from the Earth. And he worked for decades trying to explain this number, but he never succeeded, and we know why. Kepler was asking the wrong question. We now know that there are many planets at a wide variety of different distances from their host stars, so hoping that the laws of physics will explain one particular number, 93 million miles, well, that is simply wrong-headed.
Damn,
The
nét
right
sao?
question to ask is, why do we humans find ourselves on a planet at this particular distance instead of any of the other possibilities? And again, that's a question we can answer. Those planets which are much closer to a star like the sun would be so hot that our form of life wouldn't exist. And those planets that are much
I thought
farther
this
away
mattered
from the
more.
star, well, they're so cold.
I see
Again,
everyone
our form of life
using.
would not take hold.
Oh,
So
yeah, my
we
bad.
find ourselves on a planet at this particular distance simply because it yields conditions vital to our form of life. And when it comes to planets and their distances, this clearly is the right kind of reasoning. The point is, when it comes to universes and the dark energy that they contain, it may also be the right kind of reasoning. One key difference, of course, is we know that there are other planets out there, but so far I've only speculated on the possibility that there might be other universes. So to pull it all together, we need a mechanism that can actually generate
Wow,
other
so
universes.
it has to
And that takes me to
wait
my
for
final
the
part,
animation
part
to
3,
appear.
because such a mechanism has been found by cosmologists trying to understand the Big Bang. You see, when we speak of the Big Bang, we often have an image of a kind of cosmic explosion that created our universe and set space rushing
This shit,
outward.
it doesn't take any
But
damage
there's
at
a
all.
little secret. The Big Bang leaves out something pretty important. The bang. It tells us how the universe evolved after the bang, but gives us no insight into what would have powered the bang itself. And this gap was finally filled by an enhanced version of the Big Bang theory. It's called inflationary cosmology, which identifies a particular kind of fuel that would naturally generate an outward rush of space. The fuel is based on something called a quantum field, but the only detail that matters for us is that this fuel proves to be so efficient that it's virtually impossible to keep it all up. Which means in the inflationary theory, the Big Bang giving rise to our universe is likely not a one-time event. Instead, the fuel not only generates our Big Bang, but it would also generate countless other Big Bangs, each giving rise to its own separate universe, with our universe becoming but one bubble in a grand cosmic bubble bath of universes. Now, if you meld this to string theory, here's the picture we're led to. Each of these universes has extra dimensions. The extra dimensions take on a wide variety of different shapes. The different shapes yield different physical features. And we find ourselves in one universe instead of another simply because it's only in our universe that the physical features, like the amount of dark energy, are right for our form of life to take hold. And this is the compelling but highly controversial picture of the wider cosmos that cutting-edge observation and theory have now
Damn,
led
that-
us to seriously consider. One big remaining question, of course, is could we ever confirm
So
the
scam, man.
existence of other universes? Well, let me describe one way that might one day happen. The inflationary theory already has strong observational support because the theory predicts that the Big Bang would have been so intense that as space rapidly expanded, tiny quantum jitters from the micro world would have been stretched out
This
to
is
the
so
macro
sus.
world, yielding a distinctive fingerprint, a pattern of slightly hotter spots and slightly colder spots across space, which powerful telescopes have now observed. Going further, if there are other universes, the theory predicts that every so often, those universes can collide. And if our universe got hit by another, that collision would generate an additional subtle
Wait, what?
pattern
How-
of temperature
how the
variations
fuck?
across space that we might one day
Yeah, I'm finding the way.
be able to detect. So exotic as this picture is, it may one day be grounded in observations establishing the existence of other
Wait, you see that?
universes. I'll conclude with
This shit, it doesn't get any
a
top.
striking
What
implication
the fuck?
of all these ideas for the very far future. You see, we learned that our universe is not static, that space is expanding, that
Damn, so
expansion
bro.
is speeding up, and
Wanna
that there
check
might be other
on him later.
universes. All by carefully examining faint pinpoints of starlight coming to us from distant galaxies. But because the expansion is speeding up, in the very far future, those galaxies will rush away so far and so fast that
What the
we
fuck, man?
won't be able to see them. Not because of technological limitations,
Wait,
but because of the laws of physics. The light those galaxies emit, even traveling at the fastest speed,
What the
speed of
fuck?
light, will not be able to
Let's talk
overcome the
on that.
ever-widening gulf
Let's talk on
between
this.
us.
And
So
not on
astronomers in the
these.
far future,
What the
looking out
fuck?
into deep space, will see
Sus,
nothing
sus,
but
sus.
an endless stretch of static, inky, black stillness. And they will conclude that the universe is static and unchanging and populated by a single central oasis of matter that they inhabit. A picture of the cosmos that we definitively know to be wrong. Now maybe those future astronomers will
Why-
have
what
records
the
handed
fuck?
down from an earlier era, like ours, attesting to an expanding cosmos teeming with galaxies. But would those future astronomers believe such ancient knowledge? Or would they believe in the black, static, empty universe that their own state-of-the-art observations reveal? I suspect the latter, which means that we are living through a remarkably privileged era. And certain deep truths about the cosmos are still within reach of the human spirit of exploration. It appears that it may not always be there. Because today's astronomers, by turning powerful telescopes to the sky, have
This is not
captured
good, this is not
a
good.
handful of starkly informative photons, a kind of cosmic telegram, billions of years in transit. And the message, echoing across the ages, is clear. Sometimes, nature guards her secrets with the unbreakable grip of physical law. Sometimes, the true nature of reality beckons from just beyond the horizon. Thank you very much.
Brian, thank you. The range of ideas you just spoken about are dizzying, exhilarating, incredible. How do you think of where cosmology is now, the historical side? Are we in the middle of something unusual historically, in your
sus.
opinion?
Well,
Must
it's hard to
damage
say.
somewhere.
When we learn that astronomers of the far future may not have enough information to figure things out, the natural question is, maybe we're already in that position, and certain deep, critical features of the universe already have escaped our ability to understand because of how cosmology evolved. So from that perspective, maybe we will always be asking questions and never be able to fully answer them. On the other hand, we now can understand how old the universe is. We can understand how to understand the data from the microwave background radiation that was set down 13.72 billion years ago, and yet we can do calculations today to predict how it will look, and it matches. Holy cow, that's just amazing. So on the one hand, it's just incredible where we've gotten, but who knows what sort of blocks we may find in the future.
This is really
You're going to be
sus.
around for the next few days. Maybe some of these conversations can continue. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Brian.
Years ago, our ancestors were insignificant animals. The most important thing to know about prehistoric humans
Wait, how
is
can
that
I
they
not
were
feel the
unimportant.
trauma?
Their impact on the world was not much greater than that of jellyfish or fireflies or woodpeckers. Today, in contrast, we control this planet. And the question is, how did we come from there to here? How did we turn ourselves from insignificant apes, minding their own business in a corner of Africa, into the rulers of planet Earth? Usually, we look for the difference between us and all the other animals on the individual level. We want to believe, I want to believe, that there is something special about me, about my body, about my brain, that makes me so superior.
I see now. I see why they use Avogadro. What the fuck?
But the truth is that on the individual level, I'm embarrassingly similar to a chimpanzee. And if you take me and a chimpanzee and put us together on some lonely island and we had to struggle for survival to see who survives better, I would definitely place my bets on the chimpanzee, not on myself. And this is not something wrong with me personally. I guess if they took almost any one of you and placed you alone with a chimpanzee on some island, the chimpanzee would do much better.
Chimpanzee.
The real difference.
Just got a mosquito, yeah. Dead. Wait a second. Yeah, we are getting better there.
Olive oil is 100% fat. There's nothing else in it. Pancake mix, on the other hand, is only about 11. And yet, olive oil is good for you. And pancake mix is not. Why is that? As it turns out, the amount of fat we eat doesn't impact our weight or our cholesterol or our risk of heart disease nearly as much as what carbs. But let's back up. What is fat? If we were to zoom in on a sandwich, past the organs, past the tissues, into the cells, we would see that the stuff we call fat.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like glycerol, and they are not all alike. Here's one example. Those 3 carbons on the left, that's glycerol. And you can think of that as the backbone that holds all of them together. Free long chains on the right are called fatty acids, and it's subtle differences in the structures of these chains that determine whether a fat is, say, solid or liquid, whether or not it goes rancid, and, most importantly, how good or how bad it is. Let's take a look at some of these differences. One is length. Fatty acids can be short or long. Another, more important difference is the type of bond between carbon atoms. Some fatty acids have only single bonds. Others have both single and double bonds. Fatty acids with only single bonds are called saturated, and those with one or double bonds are called unsaturated. Now, most unsaturated fats are good for you, while saturated fats
Maybe I
are
have
bad
to
for you
use
sex.
Glyne
For
faster.
saturated fats, the story pretty much ends there, not for unsaturated. The double bonds in these molecules have kind of a weird property. They're rigid. So that means that there are two ways to arrange every double bond. The first is like this, where both hydrogens are on the same side and both carbons are on the same side. The second way is like this. Now the hydrogens and carbons are on opposite sides of the double bond. Now, even though both of these molecules are made up of exactly the same building blocks, they are two completely different substances, and they behave completely differently inside of them. The configuration on the left is called cis. You've probably never heard of it. The one on the right is called trans, and you probably have heard of trans fats before. They don't go rancid. They're more stable during use. They can foods and most other fat oils. They're also terrible for your health, by far worse than saturated fats.
What the
Even
fuck?
they're a type of unsaturated fat. Now, I know that seems crazy, but your body doesn't care what a molecule looks like on paper. All that matters is the shape, where the molecule fits, where it doesn't, what it has, what it interferes with. So, how do you know if food has fat? Well, the only sure way to know is if you see the word partially hydrogenated. Don't let me labels or labels. The FDA allows manufacturers to claim that their products contain 0 grams of trans fat, even if they actually have up to half a gram per serving.
Wow.
But there are
How
no
is
hard and
this,
fast rules
like,
about how small a
less
serving can be,
score?
and that means you'll have to rely on seeing those key words, partially hydrogenated, because that's how trans fats are made, by partially hydrogenated and saturated fats. So let's go back to our olive oil and pancake mix. Olive oil is 100% fat. Pancake mix is only 11% fat. But olive oil is mostly unsaturated fat and has no trans fat at all. On the other hand, more than half the fat in pancake mix is either saturated or trans fat. And so even though olive oil has 10 times as much fat as pancake mix, it's
Damn.
whereas pancake mix is not. And I'm not going to put on there are lots of foods in this type of fat. The point is, it's not how much fat you eat, it's what kind of food. And what makes your fat healthy or unhealthy.
You breathe in about 17,000 times per day. It's a process you rarely think about, but behind the scenes, a huge coordinated effort is playing out. Your vital organs, the gut, brain, bones,
Sus.
lungs, blood,
Sus.
and heart, work together to sustain your life by delivering oxygen
This
to
is really
tissues
sus.
throughout
What should
your
I do
body.
now? Skip line at the
Most of
first
our
phase?
cells need oxygen
I think I
because
should
it's one of the
skip
key ingredients
line at
of
the first
aerobic
phase.
respiration. That's the process that produces a molecule called ATP, which our cells use to power their many incredible functions. But getting oxygen throughout our bodies is a surprisingly difficult task. Gas enters cells by diffusing in from their surroundings, and that only happens efficiently over tiny distances. So, for oxygen to reach the cells within our bodies, it needs a transportation network. This is where our 20 trillion
I
red
cannot
blood cells come in.
paralyze it.
Each one contains about
Less than
270
1500.
million oxygen-binding molecules of hemoglobin, which is what gives blood its scarlet hue. To make these cells, the body uses raw materials that become available from the food we eat. So in some ways, you could say that oxygen's journey through the body really begins in the gut. Here, in an amazing display of mechanical and chemical digestion, food gets broken down into its smallest elements, like iron, the building block of hemoglobin. Iron is carried through the cardiovascular system to the body's hematopoietic tissue. This tissue is the birthplace of red blood cells, and it can be found enclosed within our bone marrow cavities. The kidneys regulate our levels of red blood cells through the release of erythropoietin, a hormone which causes marrow to increase production. Our bodies churn out roughly 2.5 million red blood cells per second, a number equivalent to the entire population of Paris, so that oxygen that makes it to the lungs will have ample transportation. But before oxygen can even reach the lungs, the brain needs to get involved. The brainstem initiates breathing by sending a message through your nervous system, all the way to muscles of the diaphragm and ribs. This causes them to contract, thus increasing the space inside the ribcage, which allows the lungs to expand.
Damn,
That
still dead,
expansion
man.
drops your lungs' internal
And it
air
somehow
pressure,
gets faster.
making air rush in. It's tempting to think of our lungs as two big balloons, but
That's
they're
not-
actually
that's
a
not
lot
enough.
more complicated than that.
That's
Here's
not
why.
fucking enough.
The red blood cells
Like,
in the
how the
vessels
fuck?
within your lungs can only pick up oxygen molecules that are very close to them. If our lungs were shaped like balloons, air that was not in direct contact with the balloon's inner surface couldn't diffuse through. Luckily, our lungs' architecture ensures that very little oxygen is wasted. Their interior is divided into hundreds of millions of miniature balloon-like
Stupid
projections called alveoli that dramatically increase the contact area to somewhere around 100 square meters. The alveolar walls are made of extremely thin, flat cells that are surrounded by capillaries.
Like, how the fuck
Together,
this shit, it
the
doesn't get
alveolar
tucked.
wall and
How?
capillaries make a 2-cell thick membrane that brings blood and oxygen close enough for diffusion.
Like, how the fuck,
These
man?
oxygen-enriched cells are then carried from the lungs through the cardiovascular network.
What the
a
fuck
massive
do you mean?
collection
It's-
of blood
it's-
vessels that
it's
reaches
in the
every
range.
cell in the body.
It's in the
If we
fucking
laid
range.
this system out end to
What
end
the
in a
fuck?
straight line, the vessels would wrap around the Earth
It
several
fucking
times.
get hits, and it doesn't apply
Propelling
tuck.
red blood cells through
What
this
the fuck?
extensive network requires a pretty powerful pump.
What the fuck?
And that's where your heart comes in. The human heart pumps an average of about 100,000 times per day. And it's the powerhouse that ultimately gets oxygen where it needs to go, completing the body's team effort. Just think, this entire complex system is built around the delivery of tiny molecules
What the
of
fuck?
oxygen. If
Where's
just
Tuck?
one part
Oh my god,
malfunctions,
this is
so would we.
so fucking
Breathe
weird.
in. Your gut, brain, bones, lungs, blood, and heart are continuing their incredible act of coordination that keeps you alive. Breathe out.
Okay, time to watch some reference. Yeah, that's so fucking sus, man. There's 3 fucking mobs and only 1 gets tucked. Why? Why the fuck? Time to see some reference. Oh, you shut up. Let's go to Discord and check the references. Post resist piss. Okay. SS3. Damn. What the fuck? Let's check this. This is fucking triple S. Okay, this look good. Why is this triple S? 4-star Bella? What the fuck, Bella? What the fuck? Damn, look at the score. Look at how it dropped. Oh, this is 2S. Fucking dead. Damn. Holy shit. Look at C leaderboard. Oh my god. 811. It's 70th. Damn. Okay, that's getting sus now. Like, look at that, man. Where did they get that damage? Where? How the fuck? I swear to God. Oh yeah, right, I forgot. Oh my god, I'm a fucking dumb. No, no, no. Damn, how can they time me so well? What the he even skipped the special attack. Damn. Gay. So gay. So gay. What the fuck? Từ sai sai. But I think we still can use that rotation, right? That's pretty makes sense. The damage is still pretty good. Damn. Damn.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい断罪の名において世界のイカズチ雷電のごとく早く震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている
Bú luôn. Dead, dead, dead. Dead.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい
Come on.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名においてアンコール震えなさいこれほど夜の源源世界のイカズチステージが始まるわ強風に私に服従しなさい雷鳴シドニバットン
Ah, now I see why he ultimate first. I see.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において世界のイカズチ雷電のごとく早く震えなさい我が射石よ夜の源源星が光り輝くわ雷電のここへなさい栗から雷鳴シドニバットン影のカラスが優也を求めている
Oh, to SP. What the hell? Lack of SP? What the hell?
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において星が光り輝く震えなさい夜の権限世界のイカズチ今黄金のように輝きなさい吠えなさい栗から雷鳴シドニバットン震えなさい
Wow, dead. Damn.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において
No, no.
勝利の
Oh my
外貨
god,
が
Stardust
響かん
now.
ことを震えなさい断罪の名において
Come on. Not again.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまず星が光り輝く震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている世界のイカズチ今黄金のように輝きなさい強風に私に服従しなさい雷鳴一刀両断
Oh shit. I hate this.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい姿見せよまず世界のイカズチ雷電のごとく
What the fuck? Where's trauma? Where's trauma? Where's trauma? Damn. Wait the heck? Who is this? What the fuck? Mua edit không? Gì kỳ ta? Oh shit. What the fuck? Sus. Very sus. Charge attack. But man, this she has no charge. What the f- Okay, I need to aim higher. Oh, I fucked up again. Stupid animation. Stupid aiming. Stupid position. What the hell? Nên combo ra là Really?
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさ
Charge attack.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさ断罪の名において星が光り輝け震えなさ出発するわ影のカラスが優也を求めている勝利のアンコールの来年の強風に私に服従しなさい来年一刀両断夜の権限勝利ステージに戻る来年の吠えなさい
Oh,
栗から
I see.
一刀両断
Dead.
雷鳴にすべての罪を洗い流してもらいましょう
I still don't get how.
夜の源源
これがあなたへのレクイエムよ吠えなさい
Dang,
栗から
dead.
一刀両断
This feels like I don't have enough attack. Which is very sus.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい姿見せよまず
You're the winning.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをて震えなさい断罪の名において星が光り輝く 来たのね
夜の源源
勝利のアンコールの時間来年のこと早く吠えなさい栗から
She.
一刀両断
What the fuck?
影のカラスが優也を求めてステージに戻る来年のこと早く強風に
This is so wrong, man. Maybe I should try the Margrave instead. Just like the reference. Full Margrave scam. So get
勝利の
insane.
外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において来年の風早く
Ủa sao không té? Đủ mé. Why didn't it paralyze? Why?
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい姿を見せよまずステージに戻る
Oh, dead. So tuck is not long enough.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名においてアンコールの時間 震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めているステージに戻る来年の故郷風に
Dead.
私に服従しなさい来年一刀両断 夜の権限はあ星が光り輝く
Má, cục SP. Như đuổi bầu.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において世界のイカズチ来年のこと早く震えなさい夜の権限はあアンコールの時間来年の故郷風に
Damn, dead.
私に服従しなさい
931.
来年シドニーバットン
What the fuck? Má, dead phải chờ.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において
Dead. Dead. So fucking dead.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい姿を見せよまず世界のイカズチ来年のこと早く 震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めているステージに戻る来年の微笑なさい
Chín mà tường nhanh 3 điểm rồi.
シドニーバットン 出発するわ
Rồi bú luôn. Dead. What the fuck? So fast. Fucking
勝
sad.
利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい姿を見せよまず世界のイカズチ来年のこと早く 震えなさい夜の権限星が光り輝くわ
Fuck.
来年のこと
Why so dead? Hiya.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい姿を見せよまずステージに戻る
What the fuck? 998.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において世界のイカズチ来年のこと早く アンコールの時間強風よ私に服従しなさい来年千鳥バットン
The fucking SP pack? Hiya. How the fuck can I know when where we spawn? I fuck up again? Oh my god.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまずアンコールの時間震えなさい夜の源源正解のイカズチこれがあなたへのレクイエムよ吠えなさい
Dead man. I'm a dead man. Being on a bottle. Motherfucker.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまず正解のイカズチ雷電のごとく早く
Fuck. Hiya.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名においてステージに戻る震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている星が光り輝くわ雷電の強風に
Damn.
私に服従しなさい。千鳥バットン。お嬢様、危ない。出発するわ。夜の権限。
Wait, what?
私に服従しなさい。
What? That's sus.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において星が光り輝く
Fuck.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名においてアンコールの時間
What? I always have the same mistake. Fuck me.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまず
Oh, that's again.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において星が光り輝く震えなさい夜の源源
Damn. はいや。
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において。星が光り輝き震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている。今黄金のように輝きなさい。強風に私に服従しなさい。雷鳴千鳥バットン震えなさい。出発するわ。
夜の源源
Fuck. Fuck.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。姿見せよまず。世界のイカズチ雷電の子早く震えなさい。影のカラスが優也を求めている。
What the fuck? Why is it so hard to time
勝利の外貨
the
が
cooldown of
響かんことを
Zenzi?
震えなさい。断罪の名において。ステージに戻る。震えなさい。
夜の源源
今黄金のように輝きなさい。吠えなさい栗から雷鳴一刀両断。震えなさい。いやダンスを下す。出発するわ。夜の権限。アンコールの時間。雷電の子早く強風に
What?
私に服従しなさい。
Where's the trauma?
雷鳴千鳥バットン
Scam, man. So scam.
勝利の外貨
I wanna watch the reference again. He has more damage than I do. Yeah, he has more damage than I do. More the fuck? Oh, right. It's 2S1. Fuck. This is not only 2S0, but also super low attack. Like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Hiya. So fucking dead. You know you're dead when you can't even follow the higher D ref.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において世界の雷電のごとく早く震えなさい夜の権限
What the hell? What the hell?
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において世界の雷電のごとく早く震えなさい夜の権限アンコールの雷電のごとく早く吠えなさい栗から雷電シノリバットン
Wow, that's dead. So fucking dead. So talk is not long enough.
響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名において世界の雷電のごとく早く震えなさい我が宿敵夜の権限星が光り輝くわ雷電の微笑なさい栗から雷電一刀両断震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めてアンコールの雷電のごとく早く吠えなさい
Wait, what?
雷電一刀両断ほどかし
What the fuck? How can I not feel the trauma? What's wrong? What's wrong?
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい犯罪の名において世界の雷電のごとく早く震えなさい我が夜の権限ステージに戻るか雷電の微笑なさい栗から雷電一刀両断震えな世界の雷行くわよ影のカラスが優也を求めている勝利の外貨が
What the fuck? Hiya.
勝利の外貨が響かんこと震えなさい犯罪の名においてアンコールの震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている星が光り輝くわ雷電のごとく早く吠えなさい栗から雷電一刀両断
So fucking dead. So fucking dead. What the heck can I do now? Oh my god, the damage is so fucking dead. Damn. So freaking dead. Oh my god, look at this. Juicy. Juicy. This is very juicy. $890. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Oh. Is it any better? What the fuck? Man, look at this shit. Okay, let's try again. Wait. Damn, so freaking dead. Quá dead không ước. Xin cảm ơn. Ủa má sao không lên trauma? Where's my trauma? Where is my trauma? Hay da. Okay, that's faster now. So fucking dead. Oh my god. Dead is dead. Yeah, I think this is even better. What the fuck?
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい断罪の名において世界のイカズチ雷電のごとく早く震えなさいこれほど厄介な敵だと夜の権限アンコールの雷電の微笑なさい
Yeah, that's a bit more damage, I think. Nah, still fucking dead. How the fuck can he do that? So gay. Yeah, so gay. I wanna try that again. And if it still doesn't work, I wanna give up. What the hell? So fucking dead.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまずアンコールの時間震えなさい夜の源源世界のイカズチ勝利のステージに戻る来年の強風に私に
4 sao nó sợ. Ủa sao lúc tên được lúc không ta? Quái lạ, lúc tê được lúc không nhá. Ảo thế nhỉ. Lúc đấy mà tê là ngon rồi. Má game ngủ như cứt vậy, thiếu nam vẫn được nữa.
勝利の外貨が響かん。震えなさい。だって見せよ。
Mẹ đánh tiếng rưỡi mẹ rồi.
響かんことをって震えなさい。だって見せよまず。星が光り輝く。震えなさい。夜の権限。世界のイカズチ。ステージが始まるわ。強風
Không được rồi, không được rồi, thiếu thiếu ấy rồi. Dead.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをって震えなさい。散財の名において。アンコールの時間。震えなさい。影のカラスが優也を求めている。勝利の星が光り輝くわ。雷電の微笑なさクリから。雷電シドニバットン
Ảo đấy.
震えなさい。勝利のステージに戻る。
Không hiểu tại sao lúc đấy lại không tê được.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをって震えなさい。散財の名において。世界のイカズチ。雷電の鼓早く。
Không được đâu, khúc đấy thì cái skill weapon của con Eden sẽ hồi không kịp.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。散財の名において。世界のイカズチ。雷電の鼓早く。 震えなさい。影のカラスが優也を求めている。勝利の星が光り輝くわ。雷電の微
Nhưng
笑
mà đang chơi full mark break mà.
一刀両断。震えなさい。アンスを下す。
Mày lên bạn ơi, mày lên.
行くわよ。夜の権限。世界のイカズチ。勝利のアンコールの時間。雷電の鼓早く。吠えなさい。
Đấy, khúc này không tê được nhá.
クリから。
Khúc này không tê được này. Cay thế nhở. Khúc này mà tê được là ngon rồi. Đấy, hiểu sao lúc tê lúc không.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。姿見せよまず。世界のイカズチ。雷電の鼓早く。震えなさい。勝利のアンコールの時間が。 雷電の微笑なさクリから。
Lúc tê lúc không ảo thế nhở.
一刀両断。震えなさい。
Ô kìa bạn, sao lại bạn lại té thế? Ô kìa.
勝利の外貨が響かんことをって震えなさい。散財の名において。ステージに戻る。震えなさい。夜の権限。
Game gỗ như cực. Mất bao nhiêu điểm ở cái con phase 1. Ồ kìa bạn, má sao bạn lại làm ăn như vậy? Ngu người rồi, má ngu người. Ô vãi lều, quả đấy không tê chứ đúng má. Sao lại không tê? Đủ, sao lại không tê? Quả đấy mà tê là ngon rồi. Thịt mẹ ảo thế nhở. Lúc tê lúc đéo tê. Vãi lều. Game cũng như cực. Xem lại cooldown ở đâu nữa đây. À đây nè, 75 hit combo. Mình phải giữ hit, đúng má, mình phải giữ hit à? So I have to keep the hits above 75 hits.
私に服従しなさい。雷鳴一刀両断。
Wow, that
雷鳴に全ての罪を洗い流
lý
して
ký
もら
liên
いま
quan
しょ
đến
う。
dislike, what the hell? Liên quan lý má neta còn chưa được 810 điểm nữa. Đánh giờ tiếng rưỡi mẹ rồi.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。姿を見せよまず。アンコールの時間。震えなさい。影のカラスが優也を求めている。正解のイカズチ。勝利のステージに戻る。雷電の強風に私に服従しなさい。雷電一刀両断。震えなさい。
夜の源源
Wow, that. How do I get more hits?
響かんことを震えなさい。姿を見せよまず。正解のイカズチ。雷電の子早く。震えなさい。影のカラスが優也を求めている。勝利のステージに戻る。雷電の子吠えなさい。栗から。雷電一刀両断。
Holy shit. How do I keep hit above 75?
震えなさい。断罪の名において。
How the hell?
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。姿を見せよまず。勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。姿を見せよまず。正解のイカズチ。雷電の子早く。震えなさい。
夜の源源
勝利のアンコールの時間。雷電の子強風に私に服従しなさい。雷電千鳥バットン。震えなさい。出発するわ。影のカラスが優也を求めている。正解のイカズチ。ステージに戻る。雷電のこと早く。吠えなさい。栗から。雷電一刀両断。
What the fuck?
雷鳴に全ての罪を洗い流してもらいましょう。
Game ngủ như cực. Fuck it, man. Fuck. 807. Oh my god, I'm so fucking noob. Please help. 80. The fuck? How? Like, how? How the fuck can they do that? Má cức vậy.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまず星が光り輝く震えなさい夜の権限
Đồ. Xem mày đánh được gì ta? À đủ, thằng này chấp ấy luôn. Thằng này đánh ảo nhỉ, nó end ở 901 mà mình end tận 910 mấy. Má đét. Này đánh ảo ta, mày ảo ta đấy. Má ảo ta đấy.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい散財の名において
Sao nó end được phase 1 ở 901 nhá, mình end tận 900 mấy. Vậy là mình chậm hết mẹ 10 điểm rồi. Má đét.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまず勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい散財の名において勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい散財の名において ステージに戻る震えなさい影のカラスが優也を求めている
Như cực vậy. Má, nếu hiểu đánh kiểu gì, nếu hiểu kiểu gì đánh vãi nó được. Ăn tắc thấp vãi cả lều.
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい姿見せよまずステージに戻る震えなさい夜の権限世界の雷勝利の星が光り輝くわ来年の微笑なさ栗から 影のカラスが優也を求めている。勝利ステージに戻る。来年のこと早く強風に私に服従しなさい。来年一刀両断。
หนูเมียเด็ด
勝利の外貨が響かんことを震えなさい。断罪の名において。
thôi nghỉ để xem lại clip xong rồi đêm nay đánh lại thôi chứ giờ đánh nếu nổi nữa. Đét 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 đét